You voted and the results are in. The top 10 must-add players for this week in fantasy baseball is coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello sports fans and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I've got your top 10 hottest players to pick up for week 10 in fantasy baseball. Now I want to thank all of you for casting 655 total votes, which was the driving force behind this week's list. Before I reveal the list, if you're a fan of this content, please smash that like button. And if you're new here and appreciate quality fantasy baseball insight, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that way you don't miss an episode. Also, keep an eye out for this week's polls on who you should be picking up ahead of week 11. Do you have a burning fantasy baseball question? Ask me on Q. Go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds, submit your question, and for a small fee, I will personalize a response and send it to your email. It's super easy to do, and it's a great way to get fantasy baseball advice while also supporting this channel. Now let's kick off this list at number 10. We have Logan O'Hoppe, 60% owned, 46% of the catcher's votes this week. 5 runs scored, 4 homers, 7 runs batted in, and a .211 average over the last 2 weeks. Now it's a little surprising to see O'Hoppe available in as many leagues as he currently is. He is a bona fide power threat, and he showcased that in his 400 career plate appearances, hitting 21 home runs already. He's going to strike out more than most managers might like, but the lack of production at the position, you can certainly do better with O'Hoppe than you can with a lot of other options. Let's go to number 9. We have Josh Bell, 28% owned, 44% of the first baseman votes this week. 5 runs scored, a homer, 8 runs batted in, and a .327 average over the last 2 weeks. Bell is an imposing player that can hit the ball hard, but he struggled to put the ball in the air. His career launch angle is almost 30% lower than the league average. Now, what is encouraging about Bell is that he's improved his launch angle this season, so we may soon see some more production coming from his raw power. Now, let's see if Bell can zero in on some pitches and start to go on a power binge to start the summer. Let's go to number 8. We have Nolan Gorman, 60% owned, 41% of the third baseman's votes this week. 9 runs scored, 4 homers, 9 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and a .303 average over the last 2 weeks. Now here's a player that is absolutely zeroed in at the plate. When Gorman makes contact, he's among the league leaders in barrels. He is a 3 true outcomes hitter, so you're going to have to stomach a lot of swing and miss with him. In points leagues, I would hesitate to get him, but in category leagues, he should be on a lot more rosters. If you need a shot of power in your lineup, then go ahead and grab him. Let's move on to number 7. We have Nick Gonzalez, 33% owned, 60% of the shortstop votes this week. 7 runs scored, a homer, 10 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .349 average over the last 2 weeks. The former first-round pick is starting to show the league what he is capable of. He is a great pickup as he covers both middle infield spots, and he has a pleasant power-speed combo profile. He's locked in at the plate as well with a .913 OPS to start the season. His fielding is a little suspect, but he's hitting the ball so well that he isn't going to be losing playing time there anytime soon. Let's go to number 6. We have Mackenzie Gore, 59% owned, 35% of the starting pitchers votes this week. 2 wins, 21 strikeouts, a 1.93 ERA, and a .91 WHIP over the last 2 weeks. Early in the season, I like to look at changes in pitchers' velocity, and Gore has been on my radar for a while now. His fastball is up 1.6 mile per hour from last year, and he's now touching 99 miles per hour on occasion. He has the pedigree. He was selected 3rd in the 2017 draft. He's also sitting at 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's starting to break out, and I absolutely want every part of that. He might end up being the top 5 or in the top 5 left-handed starting pitchers by season's end. Moving on to number 5, we got Matt Vierling, 51% owned, 50% of the third baseman votes over the course of the poll that we had this week. 9 runs scored, 4 homers, 13 runs batted in, and a .368 average over the last 2 weeks. Vierling has forced his way into the top third of the Detroit batting order. The way that he's swinging the bat, there's no reason to think that he's going to be bumped down in the lineup here anytime soon. A player in his age 27 season is getting every opportunity to shine in his second full season in Motown. He's got the speed as well to steal a few bags, but it kind of seems like AJ Hinch wants to keep his base runners reeled in to start the year. Let's go to number 4. We have Mason Wynn, 24% owned, 63% of the shortstop votes this week. 4 runs scored, a homer, 8 runs batted in, and a .400 average over the last 2 weeks. After spending a little more than a month in the bigs last season, Wynn is now showing us that he belongs here in the big leagues. He's a pure contact hitter with speed, and his value will be tied to how many bags that he can swipe. But Wynn is a classic example as to why you don't want to be drafting players like Esteury Ruiz at the start of the season, as between the two, I would certainly count on Wynn's ability to be able to put the ball in play. Moving on to number 3, we got Ben Brown, 45% owned. He got 40% of the starting pitchers' votes this week. No wins, 19 strikeouts, no ERA, and a .54 whip over the last 2 weeks. Now, Brown was a very popular pickup after he pitched 7 innings of no-hit baseball in his last outing. Even though he had the 3rd most votes in our weekly polls, I do feel that he's not as good a pickup as Mackenzie Gore, who we covered earlier. Brown has an upper 90s fastball and an effective knuckle curve, but he doesn't throw his changeup or sweeper enough for opponents to have to look for it at the plate. Let's go to number 2. We have Jeremiah Estrada, 33% owned, 77% of the relief pitcher votes this week, 2 wins, 15 strikeouts, no ERA, and a .32 whip over the last 2 weeks. He had 13 straight strikeouts this past week. It's kind of hard to do much against a pitcher if you can't make contact. Picking up Estrada is a great way to manage your pitching ratios, as he's proven to be a great help with ERA, whip, and obviously strikeouts per 9. Robert Suarez has a stranglehold on the closer job in San Diego, so saves is not going to be easy to come by for Estrada, but he is going to be used in many high-leverage situations going forward. And finally, at number 1, we had Davis Schneider, 42% owned. He took home 51% of the outfielders' votes this week. 8 runs scored, 2 homers, 12 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .216 average over the last 2 weeks. Schneider is first on this list. He bats first for the Blue Jays, and he has arguably the best mustache in the league. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette are starting to turn their seasons around, so having Schneider stay at the top of the lineup can prove very fruitful for fantasy managers who choose to roster him. He's got plus pull power, and he's got a great walk rate, and both of those have proven to be big components to Schneider's success to start the year. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I am going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.